Hi, and welcome to the Media Obscura podcast. I'm your host, Nick, and I'm joined, as usual, by everyone's favorite co-host, Mike. Fun fact about Mike, He was actually rated Pink Flamingo magazine's most kickable face of 2018. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you. I am very honored to have that award.
You know, I didn't realize you were up for it, but now that I've read the latest issue, you do have a very kickable face.
People like kicking my face for some reason.
Kind of like how people like punching Rocky in the face.
Yes, but we're not here to talk about Rocky.
Yes, but I am. Because I like Rocky. And there's a new Rocky movie coming out this week that I cannot wait for.
But it's not Rocky.
It's Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Creed, but...
Can't take the limelight there.
Yeah, okay. But hear me out. I'm really excited about the new Creed movie, so I thought it would be really fun for us to watch something obscure and tangentially related to Rocky.
It is very obscure. Yeah. I have never heard of this until today.
The only reason I've ever heard of this is because me, being the perpetual fan of James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd that I am, I remember seeing literally a decade ago, I think, this episode of his show where he reviewed this movie, Ricky 1. And literally, again, a decade later, it's still in my head. And I still think to myself, wow, I want to check this out. Like, it doesn't look good.
So you never seen the full movie. You've only saw that review.
I had only, until we sat down to watch the movie tonight, I had only seen, that review.
Ugh.
And my God. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. I do want to talk about Rocky for a sec before we go into
let's talk about the good stuff before we get to the garbage train that hit us in the face.
Garbage train. But, well, okay, the one parting thought is this movie is, I don't want to sound like a hipster, because if I say like, oh, this movie is so obscure, I sound like a hipster. But like, this movie was really obscure to the point where I did an Instagram post yesterday for our Instagram account at the Media Obscura. Go
check us out, please.
Yes.
Nice plug.
No, seriously, do. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for calling me out on that plug there. But I did a post kind of to say like, hey, we're going to sit down and watch this movie. And I needed an image. And I was kind of like, okay, well, look, this movie exists. It's on YouTube. So there's bound to be a decent quality poster or picture of it somewhere. No. I had so much trouble finding a decent quality picture of the Ricky poster. And when I saw the actual poster, it looked like it just didn't look like it would be a real movie.
Google had nothing.
It had really blurry.
Oh, just like the movie we watched was just pixeled.
Yeah, it was. Oh God, the copy of the movie we ended up watching was just unintelligible. There was delay.
There was like about a second delay between the sound and the video.
In all honesty, it probably improved the movie because you'd see him get punched in the face, and then a full second later you'd hear. It was fantastic. But let's talk about Rocky.
Yeah, let's talk about Rocky. Our lovable Sylvester Stallone.
How old were you when you saw Rocky for the first time? Do you remember?
When I first saw Rocky, I had to be in middle school back in 2007. So I was in seventh grade.
That's when I saw Rocky.
Whoa.
Are we we probably saw it within the same week, honestly.
Probably. But I remember seeing it and be like, boxing is cool.
Yeah. No, I got way too into boxing after I saw Rocky. I remember after I saw that movie, I got into just the history of it. I remember watching The Thrill in Manila. I remember getting a book called Ring of Hate, which is about Joe Louis. I got so into boxing, and it's really funny because I'm not only am I the least athletic person ever, I'm also the least violent person ever. I know you'll probably beg to differ, but I wouldn't hurt a fly. There was a cricket spider in here yesterday. This is how much of a weakling I am when it comes to killing anything or fighting anything. I saw it and I was on the couch with my girlfriend and I darted up and she's like, what's wrong? Are you okay? I just looked at it and I got up and I grabbed a binder at the other side of the basement over here and came back to it. I hadn't said anything to her at this point. She's looking at me like, what are you doing? We were watching MASH and you went into full combat mode over here.
Rambo.
Yeah. And yeah, sure enough, I'm holding the binder over this cricket spider thinking to myself, you drew first blood, not me.
Oh,
you drew first blood. And I throw the binder as hard as I can at the ground and the I throw the binder as hard as I can at the ground, and the little rascal, he just leaps at me past the binder, and I'm like, oh God!
It came after you?
It came after me, man.
Oh my God.
I mean, I barely got out of there. If he had gotten to me, I was worried that he would have gone for my kids next.
Oh.
Suffice to say, I got him.
Okay.
I got him eventually. It took a whole semester's worth of school supplies, but I finally hit him with something.
As your girlfriend watches on, just like, why?
After a while, she just went back to watching MASH, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, back to the boxing stuff.
Yes,
You had your
I'm harmless.
Your whole boxing fiasco. I remember that you went through your boxing phase. I was going through mine too after seeing Rocky. Actually, it wasn't Rocky 1 that I saw first. Really? It was Rocky 4.
We have doing it the Star Wars A New Hope
at our lake house. We have Rocky 4 on VHS.
Yeah, I remember this. I've been to
and every time we'd be up there, we'd watch it. And every night we'd watch it. And we'd just be loving it. We never get bored of it.
It's hard.
We still do. We still watch Rocky 4 every time we're up at the lake.
Okay, so side tangent again. I remember, what was it, 2 years ago now?
From what?
From when I went to your lake house with you.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah,
it was like
3 years ago. Yeah,
3 years ago. You were gracious enough to host my girlfriend and I at your lake house a couple of years ago. And I remember the next morning, we ended up just watching Rocky 4. I mean, my girlfriend was not having it. She was just like, I don't get it.
Yeah, because she hasn't seen Rocky 1.
Yeah, I mean, she had only seen Rocky 1 yesterday because I watched it to prepare for today.
Mm-hmm.
Also, because Thanksgiving, and it's kind of a Thanksgiving movie.
And Rocky 4 is a 4th of July, or is it Veterans, or is it Memorial?
I'm gonna say it's a 4th of July movie because it's the fourth one.
Yeah,
there
fine.
You go. See what I did there. Anyway, continue with your story.
All right, so yeah, that's I would say that's when my and when the heck did we get the lake house? I think it was 2001 or 2.
Okay,
so around between 2001 and 2003 is when I saw Rocky 4. That was my first taste of Rocky. But then 7th grade is when I first watched Rocky 1. And that really got the craze going. And I'd watch the movie Cinderella Man and be like, oh, that's so cool.
It's a really good movie.
And I'd go on YouTube and watch the Muhammad Ali fights. And that was really cool, watching Muhammad Ali do his thing. Yeah. And then I would watch boxing now and be like, wow, this is boring. It is nothing like what the movies say it is. Yeah. What a shocker.
Fortunately, the sport's just dead at this point. I mean, okay, it isn't dead, but
we've had the revamp of like Floyd Mayweather fighting Conor McGregor, the MMA fighter.
Yeah, MMA is what boxing used to be. And even then, I don't think MMA is all that.
Yeah.
That's also because I think I don't have like that high a threshold for violence, surprisingly.
But MMA used to be a lot more violent when it first started out. It was like Fight Club level violent.
Yeah.
But now they calmed it down a bit.
Well, it's because they broke the first rule of Fight Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now everyone watches it.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think it is about Rocky, besides like the fact that the fights are always fun to watch? Like, what do you think? Is there anything in particular that like grabs you about these movies?
I guess like the starting from the bottom, working your way up. You're just like this regular Joe getting a shot for the big guns.
Okay.
I guess people can relate to it, saying, hey, I'm an average guy, just like what Rocky is. I guess I can do whatever the big guys can do. Why can't I do it?
See, I always think that's what got me into Rocky. Also, I also love, because again, I did just rewatch it yesterday, but like I freaking love the fact that like the whole point of the first Rocky movie, at least to me, is he knows he's not going to win.
He does it. He just gets the shot.
He does it because he's like, I just want to prove to people I'm not a bum. I want to go up there and just take the beating of my life to prove that I'm tougher.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's such a good message. Such a good message that was ripe for parody, apparently. Because in 1988, we were graced with Ricky 1.
What Rocky was out by the time Ricky 1 came out?
Rocky 4 had come out 3 years before Ricky 1.
So we have 4 Rockies before this.
We had 4 Rockies, although technically 3.
Dumpster fire.
Technically 3. Ricky 1 was apparently shot in 1983. and shelved for reasons I could only assume are tied to its quality before it was picked up and finished in 1988. And it's funny because before we sat down to watch this, I said to you, oh, they probably just picked it up and dusted it off because Rocky IV had just come out. Wrong.
No.
Nope. It had actually, Rocky IV had come out in 1985, which means my chronology for this movie getting made was Rocky III comes out in 1982. And this guy, whoever made this movie, was like, let's cash in on this. Let's make a Ricky movie. You know, it's like Rocky, but it's about Ricky. And it's a parody. It's going to be like Airplane. It'll be fantastic. We'll have it out and ready by the time Rocky IV comes out. He shoots the thing in 1983. It falls through the cracks because, oh my God.
Not
terrible.
cracks. It falls through a sinkhole.
You're right. It falls through the crack pipe.
Yeah, you go.
And 1985 rolls around. Rocky IV comes out. The filmmaker probably is either too broke to finish the movie or he has decided that it's a terrible movie. And then after a night of excessive drinking in 1987,
And
he wakes up night of excessive drinking and picking his nose, according to Mike. He wakes up one morning deeply in debt and he decides, let's just finish this movie. Maybe I'll make some of my money back. And it came out a year later in 1988. That's canon. That's apparently canon now. Not the film company. It's canon, as in like, that is how this movie got made, as far as I'm concerned.
Why? Ricky won. And I asked immediately, are there more Rickies?
Yeah, because it had the audacity to say it's the first one. Right?
Like, we're the original.
No, there aren't more Rickies.
Thank God there's no more Rickies.
I know.
I don't think I'd be able to do another one.
Can you imagine if Ricky, okay, well, side tangent again. Okay, imagine a world where Rocky is the ripoff in this world. Imagine Ricky came out first and it hit it big with a parody. What's it parodying? Nothing. It's just a comedy, right? It just comes out and it's a funny movie.
Oh no.
What if Rocky had come out like 5 years later and it was Rocky? It was the same exact movie, but it was just Ricky. But the parody was that it was serious.
Oh no. And people would be like, oh, they're just ripping on Ricky. No.
Yeah. Do you think like there's, I mean, look, multiverse theory means that happened somewhere.
Well, Sylvester Stallone would have went back to his original job before Rocky.
Yes. His original job, including a role in softcore porn.
Yes.
I can't believe that's a thing. That's one of those Hollywood legends that you hear and you're just like, there's no way no way.
Yep. It's
Get
real.
out of here. You're yanking my chain. Next thing you'll do is tell me that Mickey Mouse was in an episode of Cheers.
Oh yeah. I should probably mention, guys, I know in the first episode we did Sylvester Stallone's.
No, we didn't. We did Spider-Man. Because we never finished that episode.
We didn't?
I couldn't finish editing it because of audio.
That's right.
Yeah.
Our very elusive original first episode. We
lost episode. You have to actually, in order to find it, you have to drive somewhere in the Midwest, find a cassette in the desert.
What was the movie called though? Because Over the Top. Because it was Over the Top. Another Sylvester Stallone movie. So in my mind, we're watching another Sylvester Stallone thing. But for you guys, it's non-existent.
It's like the first one. I don't know.
My brain is about to explode right now. So Ricky.
Yeah. Let's get into
Ricky.
Let's just get into this pile.
Oh, this airplane full of diapers and
first
poo.
I like Airplane. Like everyone.
Who doesn't like Airplane? Well,
it's a really funny movie.
Yes.
Is it juvenile? Oh yeah, it's so.
But it's still very funny.
Like, yeah.
And then there's Rocky. It was very serious, and everyone loves it.
Yeah,
lovable guy.
So they decided to put them together, and look on
like
paper,
a Frankenstein monster.
Yeah, it's like a weird Frankenstein monster. It's just limping down the street, going, "Kill me, kill Adrian."
No.
Oh, what's her name in this one? It's I wrote it down.
Angela.
Doesn't
even have the. It's more like
he doesn't do
racist.
the Rocky voice. He doesn't impersonate Stallone. He impersonates like a Brooklynite.
I guess he tries to do an Italian accent, but I guess this Italian man was from Brooklyn, so it's just like a horrible mashup.
I mean, we can't even tell if this movie takes place in like Boston
Or
Philly
or in America. Oh no, it is because of the crisis center has the American flag in the background.
Yeah, it does. So okay.
It's in America.
The plot of this movie is weird because it does.
There's a plot?
Yeah, there was a plot. Believe me. Okay. Maybe saying there was a plot is like a stretch. There were plot points. They had the plo. They had the P, the L, and the O, but they dropped the T.
Yeah, the big old T.
They were this close to having something coherent, and then they decided to just scribble all over the script. And after a while, the scribbling just got really racist and xenophobic and homophobic and pedophilic and misogynist. My God.
My God.
This movie was written, directed, and edited by the same guy. And look, I try not to hate on people. I like to think I'm an open-minded fella.
Okay.
But this guy's got some stuff to process.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God. This is a mess.
If you really sit down and analyze it, it is horrible in the worst way. It opens up with
the opening fight is Ricky fighting a guy who's like deeply upset with Ricky, and you kind of walk into it and you're kind of like, okay, maybe there's like a vendetta, maybe they don't like each other. No, the problem is that Ricky's opponent is actually quite the fan of Ricky. He really wants Ricky to pound him in the face.
Pound him.
Yeah, punch him repeatedly. Drill him.
He was getting off on it, and it was very uncomfortable to watch.
It started a game for us. Well, no, it didn't even start the game for us. We started a game while we were watching this because like after a while, this movie was just such an onslaught of nope that we decided to play a game called Jump Ship.
Jump Ship.
Which is whenever a scene just gets way too
intense,
whenever a scene gets way too out there for us, we decide to scream jump ship.
Jump ship, jump ship, jump ship.
And we get one per scene. So if we jump ship, basically, that's a tally against the movie. And we get a total of 6. Mike and I's counts are merged. So if a scene comes up that both of us don't like, we call jump ship, both of us. And that's 2 tallies against the movie. And once we hit 6, we just turn the movie off.
And that's it.
That's it. We turn the movie off and we just record the podcast and we say we couldn't get through it.
It was that. No. You remember what our first 2... Oh, I remember where the first 2 jump ships were.
Yeah, the first 2 jump ships. We'll get to that in a second.
Oh my God. But the fight. The first fight. Good job. He dropped something.
Oh, no.
Way to be unprofessional.
You know what? If you disappear under mysterious circumstances, that's on you. Anyway, yeah, that opening fight was really weird because as soon as Ricky started punching him in the face, he was like
enjoying it.
He was deeply into it and he was asking for more. And I'm just kind of
he would hug him and then Ricky would punch him, be like, yeah, and it took him to the floor and Ricky sat on top of him, just beating the hell out of him. And then when the ref pulled him off, the guy said, "Don't stop."
Yeah, it was just.
And it was in a seductive voice, but I don't want to do it in a seductive voice because my family probably would be listening. Hi, guys. I'm trying to be...
All the more reason to, right? That's how family works. They accept you for how you are. Sick, depraved, and quite frankly, no, just those 2, yeah.
I love you guys. I'm sorry.
But it was just weird. And you know what? Like, it's not the weirdest thing to ever happen in a movie.
No.
Especially a movie I've just like forced you to sit through.
Like the airplane has weird stuff, but
they don't open on it.
No, they work your way into it.
Yeah, they ease you in. It's like, I was in a journalism class a couple of years ago, and the guide we were given to doing an interview was you start with the easy questions and you end with the really hard questions.
No, this started with the hardest question ever.
This didn't start with the hardest question, but it started with a bit of a doozy.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
What After a doozy.
That, we get a bit of background on Ricky. We find out that he decided to help make ends meet by stripping. He was a male stripper. And this is the backstory and how he met like his love, his Adrian, this girl's name is Angela. This
person that doesn't even know how to speak the right way.
Yeah. I mean, she just constantly starts.
She types. When she types, she
stops with her speaking. It's really NPR video essayist. I mean, I can't make fun of it that much because that's exactly how I speak, but I'm going to make fun of it
But she
anyway.
types on the typewriter the way she speaks, which is a problem for me because it really, and like, that's not how it works.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm the kind of guy who just types like, you know,
There's no dramatic spaces between each of your
that's
sentences.
not true because I do that to you sometimes. But I send it to you in multiple messages.
Well, yeah, it's multiple messages. That's fine. That's a message. I'm talking about a letter.
You don't get. Do you want me to write you a letter?
Please.
Okay. I'm going to write you the weirdest letters. I'm going to write you, Dearest Michael, I hope all is well in, God, what's that nincompoopy state you live in? Pensly Venus?
There you go. But I can imagine just me reading it, and then it's gonna be like a up view of me reading it, and then it's gonna fade with Nick's head in the background, just reading the letter out loud as I read in my head.
I'm actually just taking the insulation out of your new house.
Oh no! He's stealing the copper wires.
Stay warm this winter.
God.
I'll sell this back to you at a premium price.
There's stuff before this background of how he meets Angela, but the basic thing is he was a male stripper. And he's no ordinary male stripper.
No, they lightly parody.
This is where bestiality comes in.
Well, yeah,
No, not bestiality, furries.
They lightly parody Sylvester Stallone's former career, if you think about it.
Yeah, I guess.
Like after Rocky came out, that softcore porno he was in was apparently retitled The Italian Stallion.
Oh my God. And now it's clicking.
That's why he's a horse, I think.
Oh my God. Why didn't I realize that?
I wasn't even the one to make that connection. That's from the Angry Video Game Nerd video. But it's like kind of funny, but like also it outstays its welcome really fast.
Let me just because, yes, for you guys who just heard, the Italian Stallion was the name of his softcore porn. But Ricky, when he's a stripper, he wears a horse head mask and a tail, and he's just in a thong. So that's the basis behind it. Is he's a horse person stripping in front of these women, and then there's Angela sitting down there being, I guess, a nerd.
Yeah, she's just thinking to herself, "Man, this
she's doing research.
BoJack Horseman's really good."
Oh my God! And it gets weird, and then our first jump ship comes in real hard, real fast, like Titanic into the iceberg.
I think both of us, we were not screaming jump ship.
We were screaming something else, but it was, in the PG terms, jump ship.
Yeah.
Because he was doing his thing, like, then he puts his thumbs in his underwear, starts teasing it, drop it, and all of a sudden he drops it. We're like, jump ship, jump ship, jump ship.
Yeah.
But there was another layer of underwear, and they were like, oh my God. We jumped ship there, but
we jumped ship, but I'm like hanging on to the netting of the boat still. I'm like, no, let him finish. I think the Titanic can make it, guys. And then we hit the second iceberg.
He took off his first layer of thong, which I didn't know because it looked like it was just a tan line. Like it was just like pale, pasty booty. But it was a white thong underneath it, and it threw me for a loop. I was scared there for a second because I was worried that this is not a movie Nick is showing me. This is just a porno.
Yeah, we wrote that's actually the fourth thing I wrote down. It has the story of a porno.
But it's like a porno, like with like a story of a porno, but without the parts you can skip to.
So I have another theory of how this movie got made. If my first theory isn't accurate, I like to think that perhaps this movie was shot as, call it what you may, pornography.
Okay.
And
pornography.
Upon showing it to weirdly overzealous test audiences, realized that no person would ever want to watch a Rocky porno. So they decided to cut the naughty bits out and just release what was left.
And as whatever this was.
Yeah, because this movie makes no sense. It has inklings of a plot, but no paper to put that ink on.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good. That was literary. I like that.
Proud of yourself?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Write that down.
I need that. Yeah, I'm gonna.
He's writing it down, guys. So as he's writing that down, he sees Angela in the crowd. The only woman in that crowd of women watching him strip is because he thinks in his mind all these women here are like sex craved maniacs, and she's just there. But it turns out she's doing research on what like sex does to the brain.
Yeah. Angela is like super intelligent and super compassionate. She's doing this research about sexuality, which never comes up again. I don't think it does.
Not in this no, this research project that she does, it never comes up after this.
Okay, good. So I'm not crazy. I wasn't not paying attention.
No.
I wasn't, but like, yeah. So Angela has a day job, and it is at a crisis clinic. I think that's actually what they call it. Don't they call it the crisis clinic?
Yeah, it just says crisis clinic on the top.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, what she does is she basically helps people going through crisis. It's pretty self-explanatory. But what I love about it is the sign to the place. It looks like it's a plain white sign, nothing fancy. And then they spray painted the word crisis clinic onto it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's just this movie.
But you ignored the fact about this research thing.
Oh, yes.
The that they end up having sex with him having the horse head on still. But
Yep.
not going to ignore that part. But she has like all this lab stuff and all these beep boop.
Well, if you're not doing it with that stuff, you're just not doing it right.
Of course. And obviously it in the scene is in front of the hit the mic is in front of that the beep boop machine that's recording the mind sex stuff, and it just explodes because I guess the sex was that good.
It was mind-blowing.
Mind blowing.
Get it? That's humor.
Yeah.
That's also the first of several explosions in this movie. There seems to be like a weird number of things that just blow up.
And then at that point they fall in love and they live together.
They just live together. I mean, there's really there's some other stuff that happens between them. At some point she gets pregnant, I think.
She got pregnant from that.
It's so weird because like we kept bouncing back and forth over the course of this movie trying to figure out if she's pregnant or not.
Yeah. She didn't even show signs. They didn't even show signs that she was pregnant.
There was like one line, I think.
She says, "I'm pregnant," or it's like your baby, or like some weird
Yeah,
thing.
he doesn't even, the word pregnant is like never said, I think. I think he's legitimately like the baby.
Yeah, I don't think they ever say she's pregnant.
They just refer to a baby, and we're kind of like, oh, I guess she's pregnant.
But like the movie takes place like within 9 months, and nothing remotely shows on her stomach that she was pregnant. And all of a sudden, she gives birth after 9 months, and we're like, wait,
that's what happened?
Did she have a baby? Like the last scene you could see her stomach. It was flat. And I guess she had to either use the bathroom or that's why she went to the hospital. But there was a baby, or we never see the baby. Pray tell.
Yeah, the baby is never shown on screen. It's just
assumed.
And there's a scene where she like leaves the hospital in the middle of the climax of the movie. We won't get too far into that yet. But
she leaves the baby
she just
in the
leaves
hospital.
the baby there, I guess. Like,
and with the bill.
She dined and dashed her baby.
He or she's got it.
Yeah. But before all of that, before like any of that happens, before we even meet, what's her name?
Angela.
Angelica? Angelina.
Angelina Jolie.
Okay. Before we even meet Angelina Jolie, we have this weird scene where Ricky gets home after that strange opening fight, walks past his neighbor, has like a weird exchange. It's nothing too strange, but it's like kind of stilted.
Oh yeah, the neighbor that you never see. Okay.
I'm getting there.
All right. I'm jumping ship there.
Mike made the very astute observation that this neighbor sounds like a cartoon character.
Well, he does. Or she. We don't even know.
We couldn't tell. We honestly couldn't tell.
It's like a character from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, it just has the super animated voice. And oh yeah, Ricky, you did good on the fight, Ricky.
I guess it's supposed to be another like racist Italian accent because you never take me alive, coppers kind of thing.
Yeah. So Ricky goes into his apartment and we suddenly see like not even cops. They don't look like
the
cops.
Militia.
They look like, I think I called them the militia when we were watching it. But this militia like goes up to this person's door and they're like, all right, we're here for you. We're armed. Yeah, we're going to deal with you somehow. And you just hear this.
You give you to the count of 30 to come on out.
Oh, yeah,
we're coming in ourselves. And he starts counting down from like 10 or 3.
Well, he's like, come out of here. I'm going to count down from 30. And if you don't, we're coming in.
Exactly like that.
Yeah. And we cut back to Ricky. Ricky's like washing his hands, I think. And we cut back out and he's like 3, 2, 1. And suddenly just gunfire erupts through the door. The person inside the apartment is apparently holding like a Tommy gun, I guess, and just lighting up their own door. And the person like quickly looks back and he's like 29, 28.
The first genuine laugh out of this movie that we got this movie
took 5.
Yeah, only 5 out of this movie.
We only laughed 5 times at the movie. We only laughed 5 times at what the movie was doing.
Yeah.
Like intentionally.
I got a good laugh out of one part in the hospital. That got me good.
But I just had to bring that scene up. That scene is so weird.
Yeah, it is. Like this cartoon character shoots up his door and then the militia's like, we have one armed guy and there's 4 of us armed people.
Yeah.
I think we'll just wait.
I think we'll just chill here. And what's so funny about it is, and this is what reminded me of it, is you mentioned that the movie seemingly takes place over the course of 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the movie, we see that person is still in their apartment and the militia is still there.
9 months. That's pretty dedicated for this militia.
Yeah. I almost gave that a genuine laugh from us, but like I realized that it was only funny because I made that connection.
Yeah.
Like I just can't.
They're just still there. And
yeah. It's
and Ricky just almost said Rocky. Ricky walks back like nothing happened. I guess that's the whole point.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't even like think twice about it. He doesn't acknowledge
the militia.
The raging gunfire.
Oh my god.
That's presumably been outside his apartment
for 9 months with this pregnant girlfriend.
This movie drags too. That's another thing. I don't think I've ever checked the amount of time left in a movie quite as many times as I have tonight.
I wasn't bored, but this one dragged.
Yeah, this was a long movie. If it wasn't for the fact that I wasn't watching it with a person that will literally feed off of the stupidity with me, it's almost
we feed.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever see like, you know, like a phone bank that has like multiple charging things, this movie was a phone bank and we just plugged this thing into us and we just like fed off of it.
There you go.
For an hour and a half. But like, if I was watching this alone, or I don't even think if I'd watched this with like any of my other friends that I would have gotten through it.
Well, I'm very flattered about that.
Well, don't be.
Oh.
Because I was about to drag you through the dirt.
Oh, here we go.
Because I was checking the timestamps, we had 2 anomalies that cracked me up. Come up. Which is exactly 17 minutes into this movie. Exactly 17 minutes into the movie, you kind of like asked me if you should be offended by this because this movie is like so many Italian stereotypes at once.
Should I have been offended about this?
Yeah, you were just like, this is like, I don't even remember what the scene was.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what scene was going on that was Italian related. I don't know. But I know the next timestamp though.
The first one, something happened and you were just like, I don't know if I should like, should I be offended by this? Like, is it offensive? And then we got the answer like 20 minutes later.
Timestamp number
42 minutes.
42 minutes.
42 minutes later, a Godfather parody just comes in out of nowhere.
This mob boss and this Godfather parody comes on and it's very Italian and like, there's like
the staccato strings and like,
I'm like, okay, I guess I should be definitely offended about this. Not that I'm definitely offended. I was like, I guess I should definitely be offended.
I should consider getting angry about this.
Because I was so dumbfounded about the rest of the movie. I was like, I guess so.
This movie has this weird effect where you don't feel like you're watching a movie. You feel like you're watching someone's like prolonged mental breakdown.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so funny though, because you're like, I should be offended by this. And I just immediately decided to pause the movie. Check how long it took you to come to this decision. It took you the better part of an hour.
I guess I was offended.
But even looking past the parts of this movie that are just so offensive, there are just scenes that don't make sense. And they don't make sense in a way that's like endearing if they had just gotten like, I can't tell if I wanted the movie to get weirder or if I thought it was too weird to begin with. But there's a scene where a guy wearing like, what is it, pantyhose? Like, you know, when they rob a bank, you put on like pantyhose.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, you put the pantyhose over your head. So like, where's your face?
Yeah. There was a guy who was like doing that, but he was doing it to like talk to the girl on the phone.
Why was he wearing it in the first place?
I don't remember. He was like talking to him.
What'd you say he looked like?
I was about to lead into that. Yeah, so anyway, he calls her to say something, but all I'm thinking is, besides the fact that he's just wearing pantyhose in a phone booth, like it's like, you know, what you do on a Thursday night. Like, well, what am I going to do? My scarf's in the wash. I might as well wear my wife's pantyhose.
Yeah.
But
they're clean.
They're clean. They're disposable.
Disposable, yeah.
But all I was thinking this whole time was, he looks like a crash test dummy that had just found out that the new Toyota hybrid was like the safest vehicle ever. And he wanted to call customer service to give him a piece of his mind because he's still testing Honda Civics.
About to lose his job here. Layoffs here. It's a tough economy.
Tough economy. Cars are getting safe.
Wait until he hears about
crash test dummies.
Wait until he hears about Elon Musk and his Tesla. Man, he's gonna be angry.
He's going to be livid.
But you're talking about all these scenes that were like messed up. I want to talk about the most messed up scene in this entire movie.
Oh, yes.
That haunts me now and will always haunt me.
This was, if I'm not mistaken, this was our third and our fourth jump ship.
This was the next huge jump ship. Okay. The character, I forget his name, but he's the guy who basically plays Mick.
Yeah.
This is the Mick version.
He's the old grouchy trainer.
Yes, but he's not just an old grouchy trainer. He's just a homeless guy, basically. And he's talking to Rick outside his apartment. He's like, because this is at the point where he's about to fight the champ. The champ, man.
Fight the champ.
The champ.
We should
don't bring that negativity.
This is a Rocky parody.
Yeah, so there's boxing in this. And he's outside. He's, I will train you. You're not good, but you got heart, kid, kind of thing. And then these two little girls are like, what are they calling him?
They were calling him the...
what kind of coat was he wearing?
He was wearing a trench coat.
What was he calling? What were the girls calling him?
Oh, gosh. All I remember is that he keeps the witches away.
He was like, the girls are chanting something weird.
Yeah.
And they were like doing that. And then they open their jackets up. And they're like, yeah, you scare the witches away. And the way they did it, he's a flasher. And my point is, he's a flasher. He didn't like the first part the girls ask is like, when are you going to come back to the park? When are we going to see you at the park? He's like, I'm not allowed to go to the park. And they start chanting this thing. And then they open their jackets like a flasher.
They're not even chanting.
Oh my God, this guy's a pedophile and a flasher. And he flashes little kids and says it keeps the witches away.
Yeah, no, he doesn't even just say it keeps the witches away and they don't just chant. They like have a lullaby, like a little nursery rhyme.
God. This is messed up. This is my jump ship moment. Oh my God.
I never thought a Rocky parody would have like a child molester like version of Mick.
And the kids like the kids were saying like it keeps the witches away, and he goes, yeah, you haven't seen no witches, right? like he's proving a point.
Like he's doing a public service.
Oh my God, that part messed me up. I'm like, why?
That isn't even like the weirdest / I don't.
That was my weirdest moment.
That's probably the most offensive thing in the movie, but this is also pretty offensive. So this movie's Apollo Creed. I don't remember what his name was.
The champ. Just call him the champ.
So the champ. He has like a fight planned with another boxer and the mob, because apparently his manager has like ties to the mob or something.
This boxer was named the Bolivian Bomber.
Yeah. He's going up against a guy named the Bolivian Bomber, and his manager essentially kills and poisons him. But during the press conference for this fight, they make mention of the
trainer,
Bolivian Bombers trainer,
Adolf.
And that was almost a jump ship moment for me because, like, okay, I strongly believe that it's very hard to parody or to like satire. You can't parody Nazism.
Only Mel Brooks can.
No, you can't parody Nazism. You can satirize it.
All right, yeah, satire, fine, yeah.
You can satirize it, but even then, it's like next to impossible. And yeah, like the only guy I can think of that honestly does like a good job at satirizing Nazism is Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't want to get into that. That's a whole can of worms. The whole point I'm getting into is that this movie decided to not only open that can of worms, not even use a can opener to open this can of worms. They decided to get a mallet, but not like a regular mallet, like one of those giant mallets, like the cartoon mallets. And they just decided to flatten this can, pick it up, disassemble it, remove the aluminium from it, and decide to eat it. Just eat the aluminum raw. Because it's weird.
Adolf freaking Hitler.
Weird. Like they're talking, there's a press conference, there's a guy in the background covering his mouth, and I didn't think anything twice of it at first. Until the guy lowered the newspaper and it was
and
Hitler.
They introduced him.
Yeah.
That's Adolf something, but it was Adolf Hitler.
It was Adolf Hitler.
And then that scene ends because they kill the Bolivian bomber with a bomb and like kill all the people. What were they wearing? What'd you call it? You know the name of it.
The people wearing burqas?
The burqas. They killed the people wearing the burqas, I guess, to make it.
There were characters in the background wearing burqas for some reason. Like, again, and it just doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense.
I guess Bolivia. Is Bolivia like a...
No,
it has nothing.
I don't think it is. I don't know.
I think Bolivia is like far more into Europe than it is to the Middle East.
Yeah, isn't Bolivia more in like Eastern Europe?
Where's the phone? Anything? Where's my phone? I gotta Google where Bolivia is.
Oh, you have your phone. Okay.
I have my phone. Where's Bolivia? Bolivia is in South America.
Wow, we were both off. I said
so
Eastern Europe.
Way far from the Middle East. So I have no idea why the Middle Eastern people are there. Bolivian bomber. It just is. This movie's. And I guess they killed. I guess they killed him with the bomb because he's the Bolivian bomber. And then we get back to the very offensive, horrible Godfather thing. Going, the way he speaks is just.
He's making fun of the way Brando speaks. Is Don Corleone.
And he's like, the way you killed the Bolivian bomber was like poor taste because he was named the Bolivian bomber.
This movie has the audacity to call out poor taste on itself.
Yeah.
But like, it's not even to like any of the things that are like truly in poor taste.
Adolf, pedophiles, offensive to all stereotypes.
This movie is tasteless.
And a porn.
Yeah.
Don't forget that part.
It's like a tasteless softcore porno minus the softcore porn. I don't know.
There's so much more I feel like there's so much more to talk about about this movie.
Yeah, it's such a weird hodgepodge of like things. I mean, I don't know. Hear me out. I think this movie's the result of time travel.
Yeah.
Consider this.
Explain.
Some jerk. No. Scratch that. Some drunk jerk. No. Scratch that again. Some drunk jerk that wasn't me.
There you go. I was gonna
say decided to build a time machine out of a DeLorean and go back to the 80s where he used modern technology to feed the scripts to the Rocky movies, Airplane, Hot Shots, The Naked Gun, a crappy NYU comedy troupe, not their material. The troupe itself, shoes and all. And I don't know, like a rotten orange that's been put in a blender.
There you go.
But like, yeah, an orange that's been put into a blender and recorded with Siri and transcribed into a script. All of that has been fed into an AI that was then told to write a Rocky parody movie. I think that like...
And that's this movie.
Yeah, that weird conundrum / minor mental breakdown on my part basically describes it. And speaking of mental breakdowns, that just reminded me of a scene at the crisis center.
Yeah, I was about to say, we haven't even touched the crisis center yet. There's a whole other part with Angela and the crisis center.
It's not a can of worms. That's a can of 30-foot snakes.
Yeah, you go. Oh my God. There's so much more.
At the crisis center, first off, there's a scene where a guy is just like selling exploding.
George.
Yes, continue.
George C. Patton, obviously the play on George S. Patton. So there's so much more to the crisis center, but this part, it gets weird because they talk about home defense. So they bring this guy in and he's like, yeah, we're selling these things to defend your home. for only $14.95, you can get this doormat, which basically explodes.
It's basically
it's an explosive
C4.
It's C4 with a doormat. And it's like, you can get this for $14.95. And I turned to Nick and said, that's not a bad deal for buying C4.
Man, Home Goods is really pushing that market for the NRA.
And he's like, what? One step with that burglar, and boom, they're gone. And then he's like, if that doesn't help, you get the explosive curtains. You can put it over your window. That'll send the guy flying too.
Nadine would love that.
Who?
Nadine from Twin Peaks with her silent drapers.
Oh my god! And that was for $13.95 for the explosive drapes. And he's like, I'm gonna show you a test of it. And he puts the doormat down. Everyone starts running. He's like, you pansies!
And then explodes.
But Angela walks in, being pregnant apparently still, and he steps on the doormat, explodes. The crisis center is still okay, but it explodes. Guy's apparently dead. Angela's okay without a scratch on her.
The pregnancy created a force field.
Yeah, it was everyone knows when you're pregnant, you have just a bubble.
I mean, we're but two stupid men, so we can only assume that's how pregnancy works.
Yeah, of course,
because sex ed failed us. Apparently.
You want to explain any more about George C. Patton and his?
No, I have a scene at the crisis center that just upsets me, though.
Oh, okay.
So there's a scene where Angela's like talking to some guy there. He's like complaining about how his wife hits him because he's overly critical, and he got fired or something from his job, and he's like genuinely having a crisis. And like, besides the fact that all this is happening because he's a TV critic and he's too critical, apparently, like, it's like kind of sad because he's like, my life, like, nobody, like,
this man was at the brink of, like, you know, ending his life.
Yeah, like, this guy's losing it. He's like on edge, and he's just so stressed. And I was like slowly starting to relate to it. I was like slowly waiting for, you know.
Nick was really relating to this guy.
I was really waiting for Angela to redeem herself as a character, to just say something nice and supportive and really just make me like her as a person. And then she's just like,
she gets a call.
And she's just like, just drink your soup. And she gets
a crisis call. So she's like, oh, I got to do this. There's a crisis. Not this guy, because he's not a crisis.
He's not a crisis. He's just going nuts. His head's spinning like it's poltergeist.
And what's he tell?
It was just deeply upsetting because she told him to just drink his soup.
And then she leaves.
And like, Mike, I'm sorry. But like, if I was getting upset over something and I was like having this crisis, like, I don't know. I'm under a lot of stress these days, Mike. And the thing about it is,
I think he's having a breakdown right now.
I just feel really short of breath and like everything's pushing down on me. I feel like I'm in a wall and the walls are closing down on me. I'm in a garbage compactor right now. I'm in a garbage compactor on the detention level and the walls are shutting down on me. And if you told me to just drink my soup.
And then he says that soup tastes like urine.
Yeah. So if you told me to drink soup and it turns out that it isn't soup, but it's actually the latrine.
Just toilet water.
I think I just do. I'm actually short of breath from
Nick.
Wow.
The way Nick is shook about this scene is the way I was shook about the pedophile scene. We both had our moment that really drove us to the edge.
Who are you to tell me that soup's gonna solve my problems? How do you know the soup didn't cause it? Maybe I burnt my tongue this morning.
What will help? A good slice of pie and a damn fine cup of coffee.
That's not much better than soup. Here, get addicted to caffeine and have sugar instead.
Damn fine cup of coffee.
Damn fine cup of caffeine. I'm trying to cut back on my coffee nowadays.
Are you?
Yeah, is the fact that I was just bouncing off the walls like not reason enough?
Should I start drinking coffee? Because I would just I don't drink coffee, guys. I never liked coffee. I can wake up and just start my day fine.
You don't do caffeine?
No, I don't drink. I don't have caffeine. Usually I just drink caffeine-free soda if it's caffeine free.
I have 2 cups of coffee before noon.
But if I guess if I drink coffee, I'm going to go back in time just because I'm so hyper I am.
You're going to become Fry from
Yeah, I'm going to just slow down time and just be calm.
I'm sorry. I'm just like, it's slowly setting in that I became the Micro Machines narrator for a second. Like just speaking a mile a minute, free associating.
He's an auctioneer. He's selling
visions of my father telling me he loved me somewhere in the middle.
Any more of this? What? There's more to the. Okay, Angela works at the crisis center. Let's explain the crisis center a bit. She works at the crisis center because she wants to help people, and she will get phone calls when someone's in some crisis. But we never know what the crisis is.
We seldom know. I mean,
but we know by the music, by how the tone changes.
Yeah,
it gets to this like Jaws-esque kind of horror music when she gets the call.
It sounds
and then
like
it cuts back into normal music.
It sounds like she's the one having the crisis.
I know.
When the music plays, which I love. I mean, like, it's weird because there's actually like some thematic depth to that. Like, her crisis is her job, but she cares about helping people, but it's still a crisis for her.
It's a vicious circle.
Like that. Yeah. That's kind of deep. But
she works at a crisis center, but I think she owns the crisis center because she's the only one in the crisis center that works there.
I'm like convinced that it isn't even a crisis center. Based off the sign, the fact that the sign is literally spray painted on. What's to stop her from just like, maybe she just called squatters' rights on that place and she's just like,
dibs.
You know, like
that's the P.
Yeah, she has to go somewhere during the day in crisis center.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's terrible.
But she would get these phone calls. No, yeah, she get the phone calls, and then the music would change, and then after she hangs up, it just goes all nice and lovey-dovey again.
Yeah.
And she goes running off. I got to help this crisis.
You know what it is? I think I actually...
You know what the crisis is?
No, I think I actually pinned. I know I just dropped 3 theories on what this movie is.
Is there a 4th theory?
There's a 4th theory.
Oh my God.
You ready for it? This one doesn't involve the movie being the result of a man going into deep debt. It doesn't involve it being a porno that was retrofitted into not being a porno. It doesn't even involve time travel. No, it involves time travel. Yeah, it involves time travel. And it does involve drunk people. And they might be me in this case. But my new theory on the inception of this movie is that future Nick, because I like to think that I still have some inkling of like responsibility and sanity. I mean, it's getting chiseled away pretty slowly. These 3-hour commutes every day to work and from work, they're brutal. And they're chipping away at my mental stability. But
more than usual.
What's giving it away? The Einstein hair that I'm rocking right now.
Or you talking a mile a minute.
I've been awake for like 20 hours in my defense. But yeah, no. My new theory is that in the future at some point I will proceed to get more drunk than I've ever been, and a weird calm will come over me. Because, yeah, I mean, have you ever hung out with me when I'm drunk?
Yes.
I get weird when I'm drunk. I get like...
Yes.
I'm like a sad drunk, but I'm also like a sad hyper drunk.
Oh my God.
But like, I like to think that in the future, maybe 10 years from now, 2 years from now.
2 years from now. You know, just now.
Right now. Where's the bottle? Where's the vodka?
But, I just hit the mic. Sorry, guys.
But 2 years from now, I get extremely drunk and a weird calm comes over me. And I go out to the shed and I take my car, which is it's gonna be a DeLorean.
I was gonna say, it's a DeLorean, right?
Yeah, it's a DeLorean.
Full of cocaine.
Full of astronomical amount of cocaine.
It is just a cocaine.
It's cocaine I'd procured from an earlier trip into the 70s. I had actually stolen Bowie's cocaine stash.
Oh.
Which led to him quitting cocaine. But
good on you.
I go back to the 80s and I bring my laptop and a copy of The Sims 3.
Oh God.
And then I create a Rocky world. I create several Sims based on characters from Rocky, and I just let them live their lives. And I write a screenplay based off of their actions.
You know what? That's the most logical theory that you have. That makes the most sense.
I know. And you know what the best part is? I didn't even need to be drunk for any of that. I just have a serious problem.
Just Sims 3.
Yeah. Oh, no, but like what made me think of that was when you said that, and what's her name? Angela? When Angela like has this crisis and the music is playing, and then like she gets extremely calm once the phone call ends.
She's like a
That
Sim.
just made me think of the Sims.
Oh, there's a fire in the house.
There's a fire in the house.
Oh yeah, the fire's gone.
It's raining though. It'll solve itself. Like that's it. That has to be
like
it.
That's like that like Ricky. Oh yeah, Ricky. We forgot all about Ricky. But
we haven't even spoken about the titular character in like
But Ricky,
A while.
like, gets annoyed by it, I guess, because
he gets annoyed by it because
She's
she's
focused more on
leaving
the
him
crisis.
home. She's leaving him at home by himself, and
Mhm.
she's out having fun, but
With the
like,
crisis.
not really. She's telling people to enjoy their soup. I mean,
but then there's
like,
there's another crisis thing is after the bomb crisis thing with George C. Patton, there was the next meeting
mhm.
about rape
Yeah.
prevention.
It was a rape prevention one, and it's like,
I'll let you do this one.
I don't even want to. It's
All
like,
right.
because like that is such a, let's put it like this. I was really close to calling jump ship.
That was weird. It was weird. Okay, so it was a cop. What was the cop's name?
I don't remember.
Detective Boner.
He must have
She
gotten
went. She
picked on
said
in grade
Detective
school.
Bonner, and he corrected her, saying no, it's Detective Boner. A hard O Boner. So
yeah. You know what? I'm going back to the third theory because this sounds like really bad, like improv.
see,
Like,
very bad improv.
just really
So
bad
he-
improv. And I should
He
know.
Basically, goes undercover as a woman and catches people. I guess preventing rape.
Yeah, he catches.
But in the scene,
people.
it's an actual woman dubbed over in a man's voice.
But okay, but like that doesn't make sense. So the cop goes undercover as a female prostitute or something in order to catch rape.
I guess. But then he starts blowing up like a sex doll, and this is like how you prevent rape, and the sex doll
It's
like
just-
deflates, and
It's so crude and it's
it's
so
chaos, and then
rude
she's just
and it's so
talking to Ricky while this is going on in the background.
yeah.
And then she gets a crisis call and leaves that.
I don't know. I hated that scene. That scene was like legitimately an almost jump ship thing for me because one, it made absolutely no sense. But like much worse, it's like it's making fun of rape.
That's not cool.
That's in really bad taste.
This movie made fun of a lot of things that wasn't cool.
Yeah, I mean, this movie basically like decided. I think like whoever made this thought he was really being provocative.
I mean, there's like dark humor, but this wasn't dark humor. This was just sick, demented humor.
Yeah. I'm going back to an even earlier theory that this is just like a prolonged mental breakdown. Not by me.
Not by you.
Not by me. Not by me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we forgot. We'll go back to the porn.
You know
theory.
what? Let's get into the actual Rocky plot.
But wait, we gotta remember. There's one more thing. The phone call. There's 2 phone calls that happen.
Oh yeah.
That this guy offers a job to Lucky, who is the Polly of the movie, who I say is the Invisible Man because his whole face is just wrapped up in gauze.
Like bandaged up for the whole thing.
So he's the Invisible Man.
He's in like 2
But he
scenes.
answers the phone for Angela, and it's the guy. He's like, "You want to make $100? Why not just be $100 to be part of our
It was like a phone sex
If
line.
he
I
wanted to hire the guy as Lucky as a phone sex guy, and he's like, "You go to hell, you sleazeball," and he's like. And the guy goes, "You want a job?" And Lucky just hangs up on him. I was like, "What the hell?" And this happens again to the
It
champ.
happens 2 times in the movie, and it's like so weird because it never comes back
But
after.
there was
those
no
times. It wasn't
reason.
a joke. It wasn't a. There wasn't a punchline.
This guy wants to have phone sex.
You know what? Okay, so we need to really quickly get into like the actual plot of the
Oh
movie.
my god!
quote
I just
unquote.
see what we mean. There's so much about this movie, yet we even haven't even gone to the plot.
Like we've been here for an hour and 5 minutes, about give or take, and like we haven't even gotten to the plot. But there's one thing that I do want to touch on. There's a scene where Angela is. We see. I actually remember the name.
There you go.
It only took an
Getting
hour.
on you.
Angela is like cooking dinner for Ricky.
Yeah, the candlelight dinner.
Yeah, the candlelight dinner. And like it's really weird because like there's going to be a gag, right? There's always cheap gags everywhere. You see her put the pot that she's cooking with on the stove
I missed this.
or on
but
the counter
he
or
saw it
wherever.
right away.
And like when she's putting it there, I saw it just not even through the corner of my eye. I saw it clear as day. There was no bottom on this pot. So everything she was putting in the pot was touching the ground. So when she lifts the pot, they would all stay or fall out. Ha ha ha, comedy. Don't let us see that. Don't let us see the punchline while you're setting up the joke. A good joke is supposed to be unexpected.
Don't talk about good jokes with this movie.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, and then she lifts it up. And I went, "What?" And because I missed the part where you see the hole in the pot, and she lifts it up. I went, "When the hell did that happen?"
And I just erupted. I was done. I was like, Look, I like Ed Wood movies. I like movies that are bad. I like movies that are endearingly bad at planning their own stories and stuff. But like, this might be the worst movie I think I've ever seen, Mike.
For now, yeah.
No, legitimately. Like, oh my God.
This is really bad.
I'm getting sad.
All right, to the plot.
Give me my soup.
Or your soupy pea soup. All right. So the plot. Okay, so he's fighting. His girlfriend Angela doesn't want him fighting. He made a promise, and that's his thing. Is like, and his catchphrase, what was it?
Don't be negative.
Don't be negative. So another very offensive thing with the accent.
Yeah, don't be negative.
Don't be negative.
Like, that's so.
So he makes a promise not to fight. So he's like, I gotta be like a normal person, and he quits fighting. He goes to Vinny's gym. And he announces to everyone that he's giving up fighting, and no one cares.
He doesn't even announce that he's quitting fighting. I mean, he does, but like he starts every announcement with, "Hey, it's Rick." Like, and I counted it. He does it 3 times. That scene is like 4 minutes long.
And everyone looks at him like, "What the hell are you talking about?
Who are you?"
He's just a crazy guy off the street that hangs around there sometimes.
Yeah. At the core, it's a Rocky parody, so it follows Rocky's plot.
Yeah.
Pretty closely. Actually,
Rocky 1 and 2.
Yeah, it like condenses the plots of Rocky 1 and 2 into one movie. But like, there's a fight, there's a training montage, it's full of dumb gags.
There's love, there's hate.
You know what? It's not that big of a issue that we took an hour to get to the plot. I think we just summarized it in 20 seconds. It's Rocky.
Yeah. Just parodied the hell out of it.
Yeah, not even parodied well. It's just, it's like trying to watch Rocky. Okay. It's watching Rocky with your friends and doing like a riff tracks on it, but none of you are funny. So it's basically this podcast.
Yeah, pretty much.
What are you doing? You're supposed to be like, Nick, no, this podcast is funny.
No, I can't lie.
Just be supportive.
Okay, Nick. This podcast is funny and you're a genius. Ah! He threw his notes at me.
Oh, wow, that clipped.
Because you assaulted.
See that? You did
I guess
that.
he's going to assault me in every podcast. He assaulted me in the last podcast.
Did I assault you in the Spider-Man one?
Yes, you did. I remember. All right.
I just black out in a sea of rage sometimes.
You have your notes back. Oh, Jesus, I don't want to hit the mic. Here are your notes. So that's the plot. He promises not to fight. He becomes a person. So Rocky obviously works in a meat factory, but Ricky works in a...
No, Paulie works in a meat factory.
But Rocky gets a job from Paulie for the meat factory.
Oh yeah, in the second one, you're right.
Moo. That's where the moo comes in. And Ricky, instead of getting meat factory, he goes into a fish market. Fish market, cutting off fish heads. And he basically wears that fish apron with this thing the entire time. He never changes his clothes. He doesn't change once.
I mean, he dresses like Rocky does.
Yeah, but wears that apron over
with the apron.
And he does that, and then he's like, I need extra money. So he goes back to his job, but he doesn't become a stripper.
He becomes a gigolo.
A gigolo, if you do not know, is a male prostitute.
Yeah.
It's a fancy word for a male prostitute.
Prince and Under the Cherry Moon.
Oh, great movie.
No.
I love that movie.
I rewatched that on Saturday, and I have so many questions. And I'm going to ask one of them this week on Instagram, actually.
Oh, boy.
I decided for like things that we don't do the podcast on, I'm going to do like one-off mini Obscura rants.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then he becomes a gigolo, but he wears the horse head with it, and
he wears a bunny mask in one of them.
Yeah, because Vinny asks, tells him that wear the bunny mask, become a bunny, bring carrots, and then when you leave, punch the woman in the face as hard as you can.
I think that's when we decided this movie was probably misogynistic.
Jesus. And yeah, because it makes they say that the woman is beating up that guy.
Yeah, and then he takes her to the fight at the end of the movie specifically to punch her.
Decks her in the head with a glove.
Yeah.
So that's the plot. The plot is so simple, but the movie is so weird, so it's hard to get to. So he does that. He becomes a gigolo. He gets to the fish market, And then what happens after that?
So at some point he gets challenged. He gets told that he has to fight.
But then it becomes the Bolivian bomber. That's what the champ.
Yeah. After the Bolivian bomber dies, they decide to have Ricky fight him, and that's like again, like we're just speeding through it because it's paper thin.
Yeah.
There's a training montage. It sucks. Forget it. It doesn't even
pedophiles. The works.
Pedophiles training Ricky. Yeah, fun for the whole family. No, not at all. Not even kinda. You get to the fight. The fight is like one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Because it was like the last 15 minutes of the movie. So like, let's get every kind of like gag and
let's just get it out of our system.
Oh my god! But before we get to that, I want to point out like during the montage, I know it's supposed to be funny because he was lifting the weights, but he was doing it He did a deadlift and did the press up like you do in the Olympics. I did a hand motion to Nick, like how to do it, but you guys can't see it, so it's pointless.
It didn't look like you were lifting a weight. It looked like you were like on a roller coaster that was about to go down, like it was at the peak,
and it
was about to go down, and you were like, yeah, and then you realized that the ride had broken down.
Damn it!
You put your hands.
But
down.
The way he lifts it, usually when you do like a deadlift, you lift with your legs.
Yeah, it's
he just goes full blown back. If you don't understand how to lift something, you never ever lift with your back. You'll snap your spine in half. Because he's lifting like 500 pounds, it looks like. And he goes, yeah. He would have snapped in half like a candy cane with a toddler.
It's a weirdly specific.
Because a candy cane, I guess the toddler would go, I don't know.
Okay.
I can't think of a good analogy.
That's okay.
Like he would have snapped like a guitar at a Who concert.
That's nice.
There you go. Is that a better analogy?
Better, yeah. I was going to say that's why Flamingo's like kicking you so much in the face.
I just wanted to put that out there. So Nick, please go on with the fight and all the gags they throw at you.
It was just a bunch of dumb gags. There was
the hooks and jabs.
Yeah, they were talking about hooks and crosses, like, the types of punches, and then we cut to Ricky being hit with like a shepherd's hook and a crucifix, stuff like that. The champ is really bobbing and weaving. Oh, no. Ricky is bobbing and the champ is weaving. It cuts to a shot of Ricky bobbing for apples and the champ weaving a basket. It's dumb. And
during this, his wife, I don't even know if they're married in any way, but she's in the hospital watching this. But side tangent, the part that I said that made me laugh in the hospital, it happens between this moment. She has the kid and they're in the hospital. It cuts to the scene. It's a wide shot of the hallway, and there's a sign that says X-ray and then Y-ray, which really pissed me off because, like, come on, you can't. It's not funny. But they're wheeling this guy who has like a broken leg to the X-ray room. The guy opens the door and slams it on the guy's leg. He goes, ah!
Yeah,
and that caught me off guard, and that really made me laugh because I love that part. He just slams the guy's leg, and that just made me laugh.
The best. You know what? You explaining the X-ray Y-ray thing, it made me realize you ready? This is the fifth and final theory.
There's 5 theories. Towards the end of this podcast, we have our fifth and final theory.
Our fifth and final theory. I'd say give me a drum roll, but you don't play the drums. Yeah. The fifth theory involves you.
Oh.
It is the alternate universe, because multiverse theory, where 13-year-old Nick and Mike, so 8th grade, right before we started high school.
Okay.
13-year-old Nick and Mike discover a bottle of hooch in the forest and a pile of the devil's lettuce.
That Mary Jane.
The Mary Jane. And we decide to make a salad with this lettuce. And we decide, you know what pairs really good with a nice salad? Nice glass of wine, but we don't have wine. So we get some grapes and we squeeze them into the hooch. And we drink and we eat the salad. And strange things happen. And we discover a DeLorean.
It's just a DeLorean.
Just a weird DeLorean. You know what? Honestly, the DeLorean's probably a hallucination this time, at least.
It's just a tree. It's like a fallen down tree.
It's a downed tree. And
So
we go in this DeLorean,
quote unquote.
and we decide to go back to the 80s and make a movie with our intoxicated 13-year-old minds.
Because $10 now, back then, is like $1 million.
That adds up. But yeah, so we decide to do that, and Ricky gets made, and that's how the movie. Because like, okay, the X and Y ray thing is such a lame joke, but it's such a lame joke that we would have made 10 years ago.
Definitely made that joke.
Yeah, and you know how I know we would have made that joke? Because when I was 12 and 13, I made a Rocky parody.
You son.
I did. It was called Bouldery. And I'm about to summarize it. You remember it now. But
I remember it now.
It was so lame in the same way that this movie is. It was about a guy named Bouldery instead of Rocky. And he wasn't a boxer.
No.
He's a thumb wrestler. Well, thumb wrestling boy. And he just wanted to fight the champ.
Ooh, thummy boy.
And there was a montage with cheap gags, like trying to do push-ups on your thumb and all that kind of stuff. And you can't tell me that premise doesn't sound like essentially the kind of humor we got in Ricky.
But you know what? Bouldery is still a lot better than Ricky.
Yeah, but that's because I'm in it.
Oh, definitely.
My little chubby 13-year-old cheeks. So pinchable.
Adorable. So I guess this wraps it up to the end.
It looked like I fell in a giant piece of cake and just ate my way out of it.
You mean like what I did?
Yeah.
Fell face first.
That's all. That's still one of my favorite things you've ever done.
So I guess at the end, Ricky wins. They drag the champ off, who's no longer, I guess, the former champ.
That's right. Yeah. The champ loses.
Yeah, and then there's like a bunch of other. I guess it was like another homophobic thing that was going on. But they do the freeze frame of Ricky and
Angela. Now I
together,
remember it and you don't.
And then that's it. The movie just ends like how the Rocky 1 ended, the freeze frame.
Yeah, it ends with that famous freeze frame that Stallone has gone. He like
let that sink in. The majority of this podcast was talking about all other side parts. It's like Skyrim and Fallout. You got the main mission, which is cut and dry, and then there are the side quests that you just play for 8 years straight. I'm still on Skyrim, still haven't beaten it because of the side quests.
You still just play the side quests.
This is the side quests. These were the side quests we were talking about, and then the main story was just.
That's kind of like with Red Dead Redemption 2. The game's been out for like a month already. And I've done maybe 5 missions after getting out of the snow area. Yeah, I've done 5 like story missions, I should say.
But no one. I'm glad I got this movie out of the way. I know we do recommendations. What we do? Would you recommend people to watch this?
No.
God, no. Not even my worst enemies.
Yeah. I can't even think of anyone that I hate enough to be like, you should watch Ricky 1. Tell you what, I will literally give you a copy of it.
I might have my family watch Ricky 1. Make them like on Christmas Day or Thanksgiving when we're drinking.
See, that's different though.
And put that unknowingly like lab rats, put them through this. But if you're listening to this, you didn't hear anything.
You didn't hear anything. Yeah, this movie was awesome.
I can't. Those words would never come out of my mouth.
Yeah, it's weird. I need to go easy on us for the next one.
So yeah. Oh
God.
So
anyway,
you want to plug anything in?
Yeah. First off, that brings us to the close of this episode of the Media Obscura podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully, this episode will reach the airwaves at a time where we're live on Spotify.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for Spotify to approve us, although the show will be on Spotify.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. We're currently hosted on Google Play, iTunes, Libsyn's
YouTube
own player, YouTube, SoundCloud. And I guess you already know that, though, if you've gotten this far and you're listening.
If this is the second podcast you listened to about it for us,
yeah,
kudos.
Congrats. That's 2 more than I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, yeah, we hope you enjoyed the episode.
Yeah.
If you have recommendations for future episodes, we're open to doing anything related to games, movies, and music. Just make sure it's at least kind of obscure.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can send us recommendations at sorry, my brain just shut off for a sec. You could send it to us at Twitter at the Media Obscura, or you can email it to us at mediaobscurapodcast@gmail.com. You can also leave a comment on our website, mediaobscurapodcast.libsyn.com. I happen to write like 500 to 600 word after show articles there. So
he does it like so easily. It takes me forever to write 500 to 600 words.
Thank you. Yeah, no,
genius.
didn't I, for the first episode, I like texted you like, yeah, I'm thinking about writing like a 500 word thing. And then I texted you like 20 minutes later, like done.
I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So
but yeah, we have all these really cool things. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at the Media Obscura. I try to post 2 to 3 times a week, as well as just random story things.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So you wonderful people who have listened to us, have a wonderful day.
Have a happy Thanksgiving. If you're watching it on or before Thanksgiving.
This is recorded
Monday the 16th.
Yeah,
the 16th, the 19th.
19th. So Thanksgiving's coming up. So if you listen before this, happy Thanksgiving. If you listen to this after Thanksgiving, happy Black Friday. Happy Saturday.
I don't know. Happy next Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
There. Oh, what's Saturday? Saturday is support your local retailer.
Yeah.
Day.
And then there's Cyber Monday. So have a wonderful, wonderful time. Hopefully you didn't get scarred by this as much as we did.
Yeah. And if you have seen Ricky, be sure to let us know. Contact us. Yeah. Tell us what you think of it.
Please tell us what you think. I'm so interested to know what you think about this movie.
If you're curious about checking out Ricky, don't. And if you still think you want to, you should tell us so that I can like yell at you not to. I will. We warned you. Yeah. I will leave like a video reply to whatever tweet or Instagram thing you send me of me pleading with you not to do it.
All right. Love you guys.
Bye-bye.